Hey, it's Jamie from Plum Island Sea Cabin. It is a cold, raw day in New England. It has been rainy and the temperature dropped. It is in the 30s, I believe, today, but it is super cold. I am on my porch. I am bundled up because we had a bunch of shells that were sent to us from all over the world, from Scotland, from Florida, from England, from where else? California. And then also when I was away on my work trip in Kansas, I actually met up with someone, her name is Jackie, and she had given me some shells when I was there. So we have a bunch of shells to go through. We're going to go through them. I can't guarantee you that I know the names for every single one of these shells because they are from all over the world. But if you know the name on ones that I'm stumped on, definitely comment below and let us all know what it is. So again, we have shells from Scotland, England, California, Florida. I think I even have one from the Philippines, I believe. So we're going to start going through those now. We have a ton of stuff to go through. So let's get started and let's go shelling. Oh, and you're probably like, why don't you just go in the house if it's that cold? Well, we just adopted a puppy. Her name is Ruthie, and she's kind of sassy, and she barks, and she makes a ton of noise. So if we were to film this in the house, you probably wouldn't hear a thing I was saying. She also tries to eat my shells, so that wouldn't be a good thing either. So that's why we're on the porch. We're bundled up. I have a hat, I have a hoodie, I have my jacket, I have a warm cup of coffee, so we are all set. So let's jump in. So we have all of these incredible shells to go through on my little table out here on my porch, in addition to sand from all different areas of the world, including this little jar of sand right here, which is adorable. More shells here, bowls of just like miscellaneous shells and sea glass. I mean, look at some of these. They're so adorable and so colorful and so many patterns. It's incredible. I mean, look at this. This is really amazing. And then bam, check that out. I love that. So we're going to jump right in. We are going to start shelling. One of the things that I wanted to start with was I received this from Susan. So Susan, thank you for sending this in. This is a sand dollar from California. And what I really love about it, it reminds me of the sand dollars we find here in Plum Island, the New England sand dollars, the common sand dollars. They have the same look to them. They don't have the keyholes in them, and they have that awesome petaloid on the top. But theirs is a little bit more elongated. These are the sand dollars that we find here on Plum Island, and this is the one from California. So I'll give you a side-by-side view just to see how they differentiate a little bit. I've always wanted one from California. I've never been able to get there to find one myself. So Susan, thank you so much for sending it in. I do keep this one on a shelf in my house, in my living room, because I love staring at it. So that's just a little comparison there. So the one on the left, again, is from California. The one on the right is from here on Plum Island. So this is one of my most favorite things that I received from Amanda, AJ, and Birdie. So this is a queen scallop. It is huge. They call them queenies, and it is super large. And look at those vertical lines that are running through it. It's like you can see those horizontal grow lines, but then those vertical lines and those ridges are absolutely amazing. And I love the pink that is around the edges. But again, this is a queen scallop. They also have king scallops in Scotland. But thank you so much for sending this in. It is definitely a prized possession of mine now. I love it. Never saw a scallop shell that big and that flat. So over here, these are more finds from Scotland. So the two in the middle, these are cockles. And I mean, you can see the detail on those are absolutely incredible. Love the blue color. You can see the little scar in the background there from one of the adductor muscles. But that is a really beautiful shell, and they sent 2. So these are really, really incredible. I love the different color grow lines they have. And again, these are cockles, and they are from Scotland. This is a hagstone that is also from Scotland. So the holes in hagstone and also some waterlogged beechwood that we find come from piddock clams, Piddock, and they are wood boring and stone boring bivalves. An angel wing is actually a really good example of that. So this angel wing is from Jackie, and she gave it to me when I went out to Kansas on my work trip. But what's really interesting is that you can see all those ridges, and it's almost like it's serrated on here. So an angel wing is a piddock bivalve, and what happens is when they're very, very small, they set up in a soft stone or waterlogged wood, and they work their way in, and they kind of twist and turn, and those serrations on their shell bore perfect holes in soft stone and in waterlogged wood. And as they grow and move and grow and move and grow and move, they make those holes bigger. So that is what this has in common with this. So this is actually my second piece of hagstone that I've ever owned. The first one I did receive was from Jackie. She did give it to me with this angel wing, and I'll see if I can locate that so I can show it to you. This shell right here is gorgeous, but it is called an African turban, and I would absolutely faint if I was walking on a beach and this washed up right next to me. Look at all of that amazing color. Again, it's called an African turban, and my friend Lisa sent this to me, and she actually lives in Massachusetts. She sent me some Volute shells as well, but this was one that I was super excited about getting because I've seen pictures of these before, but I've never actually seen or experienced one in real life. So Lisa, thank you so much for sending this in. This is a real treat to be able to experience. So we're going to go back over to Scotland really quick. So these are fossils. This is an ammonite fossil that Amanda and AJ found and sent me. I love that they can find shells and fossils on the beach there. This is another fossil that they found that they included in the box. So you can see that shell, those shell markings there. And some limpets. This is about the size of the ones that we find here. I love the barnacle on this one. That is really cool. It's really beautiful. But limpet from Scotland, and these other giant ones here are also limpets from Scotland. These are huge. I have never found anything this size here. And I'll give you a look at the other two that are here. I love how tall they are. The ones that we have here are kind of short and flat, like that one. But these ones are like super tall. Remind me of like little mountains. This is sent in by Susan, and she found this in, I believe, California. So Susan, if I am not correct about this, let me know, but I believe this is one of the shells you sent to me from California. I love it. It kind of reminds me of like an ice cream cone. And what I like is like each section is a different color. So it goes from like super dark and chocolatey to like a caramel to vanilla. That is incredibly magnificent. And then it has all that mother of pearl inside where you can see that rainbow shimmering in the background. So Susan, thank you for sending this shell in. Let's take a second to talk about sea glass. So all of this sea glass was sent to me from Scotland as well. There are some huge pieces in here. And she included some from the northeast coast, but I mean, look at these blues. Ah, so cool. Really nice pieces of sea glass and sea pottery. There's a good chunk of sea pottery in here somewhere. I can dig around for it and find it. This is a really nice bag of sea glass that I'm going to open up in just a second and show you. But I mean, look at all this stuff. I can go through all of this for hours. Never found a piece of yellow sea glass before in my life. So Scotland is definitely winning for sea glass. It is definitely a place you want to visit if you're a sea glasser. Even have pieces of like milk glass in here. I have a whole little jar of milk glass that she sent. This is a piece of slagstone. So I'll put some interesting information up on the screen about milk glass, about slagstone, about all of the things that we're going over here. It's so pretty. Scallop shells. Little whelks. Look at that. Look at how amazingly cute that is. Larger whelks. So Scotland is definitely a place that I would love to visit to shell. This shell over here is definitely a favorite of mine. So this is an abalone shell. And look at all of the barnacle and sea worms on the outside of this. Crazy. So these holes here on the abalone shell, that's how they breathe. And they don't use all of the holes to breathe because sometimes they close up. But that is like one of my favorite barnacles on the shell. It's so cool. And then you flip it over. If that's not cool enough as it is, you flip it over and bam. Look at all of that gorgeous mother of pearl on the inside of the shell. Absolutely incredible. So this is from my friend Lynn. So thank you, Lynn. It's another shell from Jackie when I was in Kansas. This is a map cowrie, and it is from the Philippines, and it is absolutely amazing. Look at that. And people have asked me about the outside of cowrie shells because they are always so glossy and beautiful. So if you ever have the chance to Google a live cowrie shell, do that. It is a treat because when they come out of their shell, they completely encase the shell. And they have all these little arms that like scrub it. So they're constantly polishing their shell. The little arms like scrub and eat all the algae off of it. And the shell's constantly being polished. So that's why cowrie shells are always super glossy like this. So this one is from the Philippines. And again, it is a map cowrie. I'll flip this over for you. Look at that. Amazing. And I do have another one over here. This is a tiger cowrie. And I believe this is from the Philippines as well. But tiger cowrie and a map cowrie. So this is a top shell that Susan sent me. And I think, Susan, I think this one's from California too. But again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But check out the designs, the crazy designs and patterns on this. And it's like super pink and red, and it's just seriously magnificent. So thanks, Susan, for sending this in and sharing it with us. Okay, so these adorable little jars were sent to me from Scotland. The one all the way on the left is milk glass. The one in the middle is sea glass. And the one all the way to the right is a little jar of sand from a local beach in Fife, Scotland. So let's start with the sand, because I just wanted to give an example of this. So this was found on a local beach in Fife, Scotland. This purple sand here was found right here on Plum Island. And then in addition, from Scotland, I received this awesome jar of sand that Amanda actually collected herself from the Abalone Bay. And if you have a chance, look that up, because that is a real treat as well. All of this sand is from that bay. So you can get all of this different color sand in one area. So she collected it all and she made this awesome jar for me, and I love it. So this is more sea glass from Scotland, and this was collected from the northeast coast of Scotland. There's some really cool pieces here. Like, check out this one that's clear with the blue design in it. I'll give you an up close look at that. That is amazing. This is a serious find. If I found something like this, I would drop on the beach. Look at how amazing that is. Amanda and AJ, don't be shocked if one day I show up on your doorstep and say, let's hit the beach and go shelling. So beautiful. So let's talk for a second about milk glass. So for those of you who collect sea glass, there's also a type of glass that is not translucent, and it's called milk glass. And you can find a ton of this over in Scotland on the beaches. So Scotland used to be a major producer of pottery back in the day, and milk glass. So you can still find pieces wash up there. You can find them with different like patterns on them and different colors. Like there's some really cool yellows and blues in there. Usually if you collect sea glass, you also collect sea pottery and milk glass. So this is a really cool little collection of milk glass. I also love all the notes and letters that come with the shells. So I get letters. I also love when I get little notes with shells that are sent to me. So I did not have a true tulip, and I did not find one when I went to Florida. So Susan was kind enough to send me one, and she said the solid orange one with the bumpy ridges is a true tulip. The banded tulips are smooth. So we're going to dig into this. We're going to pull out that true tulip, because this is the first true tulip I have ever owned. So we're looking for the one with the bumpy ridges. So let's see what we can find in here. Here they are. The one that is closest to us, that is the orange color with the ridges, that is a true tulip. And that is the first true tulip I have ever owned. When me and my sister were in Florida, we found some banded live tulips that looked just like these banded tulips here that are in the back. But this is the first true tulip I have ever owned or seen in my entire life, other than just a picture. So Susan, thank you so much. You're so kind. She heard that I didn't own or I didn't find a true tulip, so she sent this to me. Thank you, and thank you for letting me share it with everyone. This is something really cool I got. So Sabrina, who watches this channel and is also a subscriber, came to Plum Island, and I actually met her on the beach, and she knew that I really enjoy fossils as well as shells. So she brought me a bunch of fossils that she dug out in Maryland and gave me this really cool identification chart. So I will show you some of the fossils she shared with me and said it was okay to share with everybody on this channel. So check these out. So I will put the name of these fossils up on the screen and also put how old they are. It's another really cool fossil. Oh, that barnacle. This is a fossilized piece of sand dollar. Looks like it would have been huge. Fossilized piece of coral. And the way that she explained it to me when she was telling me about her experience finding these, there is a ledge on the beach where all of these fossils are kind of like embedded, because at one point they were completely submerged underwater millions and millions of years ago. And you're not allowed to dig out of the ledge, but every once in a while it erodes and the ledge and pieces of the ledge fall down onto the beach and into the water. And that's what you're able to hunt and search and collect the fossils from. I mean, this is one of my absolute favorites. Look at this barnacle. It's a fossilized barnacle. Look at how huge this is. Hardshell clam. And that mud in there is completely hard like cement. It is getting super dark out on the porch. I don't know how much more daylight we have, but I'm guessing about 20 minutes. But we have some shells here from my friend Lisa in Massachusetts, in Newton, Mass. She sent me some of her favorite shells. So these are volutes, V-O-L-U-T-E. This is her favorite type of shell, and I can see why. Love the markings. I love the high gloss. I love the whorl. I love the apex and the aperture. And she sent me a bunch of different ones that I love. So this is a volute. This is also a volute. And this is as well. These patterns are crazy nice. Another volute. So thank you so much, everyone, for sending in the shells. I love that we can experience and see shells from all over the world. There's so many beaches that I want to get to, and I know there's only so much time, and I know I'm not going to be able to see all of them, but being able to see these shells from you that you send in is a real treat, and I love to be able to share them with all of you. So keep sending them, and I'll keep sharing them, and stay tuned next week. We're going to be getting back out on the beach for another brand new beach hunt, and we're going to find some shells. So I'll see you next time we hit the beach. Bye.